but tomorrow they'll be held to pay.
The afterlife will be headed for the serious side. Time to make them see all day, but tomorrow they'll be held to pay.
Where do we start?
Oh, welcome to the premiere edition of the Horror Shop. I'm Big Kev,
I'm Little Kev.
and we're here to bring you our take on movies that we've been watching. And
This is the our start of a new thing called the Horror Shop, and hopefully turn into a TV show. And it's basically talking all horror all the time. So for this episode, we are going to talk about Peter Jackson That Never Was.
movie in specific is Dead Alive. It's a very underviewed, underappreciated chestnut in the bin, and one of the highest body counts in any of the horror movies I've ever seen.
I don't think there was that many body counts in that movie. I only counted I counted 15 kills in that movie. You only see 15 kill scenes, I should say. As far as a zombie goes, I don't even think these are actually zombies.
Well, there is no mention, or actually there is mention of zombies,
There was one.
but that's only because the mother came out of the grave and was deemed back to not life. But of course, after someone passes away and is back amongst the living, walking, that is construed, I guess, as zombie.
Yeah, but these things they cannot be killed, pretty much. You have to take them down to absolutely nothing in order for them to be done for, I guess you could say. Even still, I mean, I don't know, this movie has so many fucking flaws in it, I couldn't even count them all.
But being as it was one of Peter Jackson's early movies, and very under budget and whatever, I'd have to say that it was done very well.
Unfortunately, I don't have the numbers to decide or to say how much money it took to make this movie. It actually was well produced. I'll give Peter Jackson, old PJ. That's what I nickname him, PJ. I give him the.
I'm glad that you're on such a level.
When I watched Bad Taste, what was it, last night or whatever, which was his second or first movie. I seen, thanks to Wikipedia, that he actually, I think, did a movie in 1972. But once again, low budget. But he made money off of Bad Taste somehow. Somehow he made money. He actually got an award for that.
Because there was a cult following, and being an independent filmmaker in New Zealand, and for doing the things that he did in that movie, not to mention act and play multiple roles, and come up with all of the props, all of. Did you
ever see Clerks?
Yes.
Okay, you know that one character that they bring in? His name is Walt Flanagan. Are you familiar with the way he looks?
No.
He's one of the comic book men. He is. He was in Mallrats. He was Tell him Steve. He's a nerdy guy. Tell him Steve Dave. He and Peter Jackson, young Peter Jackson, look very similar. And I find that kind of interesting. But the one thing I thought of though was, do you think New Zealand likes fucking Peter Jackson or not?
He provided a lot of money for that country.
I actually kind of did some research on it, and I found that, for one, New Zealand does like him because he boosted their economy. Because of the unfortunate movies called Lord of the Rings. I don't know if you're familiar with that series.
Oh, I have to be. I've never seen it.
So if you watch Bad Taste, you can't really see it in this, but if you watch Bad Taste, you can see a lot of scenes of the scenery where it looks very Lord of the Rings-ish. And he did a lot of filming in there, apparently. What was I going to say?
On the cliff sides and stuff like that. And for the house where it took place, that was a actual historic home that he was able to use, but he could not destroy anything. So he had to make models and sets which were exact duplicates of the place, and for what he did, that was pretty substantial.
I think he was born with the silver spoon up his ass.
Well, his parents did dote on him. They got him a little Super 8 when he was
Oh, you see that? I read that too.
Yeah. So
he liked taking pictures so much that they gave him a camera, and this is what he fucking gives us. He gives us fucking Dead Alive. He gives us Bad Taste, and then Lord of the Rings. Oh, you know what else he did though, which I'm actually kind of happy, but you don't like the movie. I found out was Frighteners. You know he fucking did that. He wrote it and directed it, and I think produced or whatever with him and somebody else. But he did.
Now I am of the opinion to where he's regressing. He started out good and he's winding up bad. But it's all, claptrap that people love, and, the Frighteners was the only horror movie that you could take children to.
So, yeah, this was, that's why this episode's called The Peter Jackson That Never Was, is because he started off with horror and ended up making fucking Lord of the Rings. He's got an obsession with little people. Because in Dead Alive, there's a baby in the damn thing, and he used I'm guessing a child. I'm not sure what do you call them, little people, right? They're not midgets.
No,
It's a little people?
People of diminutive size.
Vertically challenged. But yeah, I found I read an article somewhere where he a lot of the little people were gearing up for this Lord of the Rings thing because of, remember the what was that movie called, Willow.
Yep.
Willow was a hobbit, and there was another movie where I can't remember the name of it, but there was another movie that involved hobbits, and they used little people. And all these little people were all excited because Lord of the Rings was being made, or going to be made, and they all got shot down by fucking CGI.
Yeah, so
and they got Elijah Wood and fucking Rudy.
Yeah, so any grievances should be taken to the Lollipop Guild.
Oh, yeah. They were not happy with his decision.
Well, the guy from Willow actually went on to some fame as Leprechaun. So,
was he in Leprechaun?
Yes, that was the same guy.
Oh, you know what I wanted to... Since this is the month of March we're doing this, but I was going to save this for another episode, but I was thinking, what other holiday besides, obviously, St. Patrick's Day involves a monster of some sort? Leprechaun is, like, the only one that has...
Leprechaun was never considered a monster until that movie came out.
Right, but who the fuck thought, like, hey, let's do a monster movie that has to do with somewhat of a holiday, and here, look, there's Leprechaun.
Yeah, but look, they turned everything else evil. Look at Stephen King, Evil Hotel, Evil Car,
Did they make an evil
Dog.
Santa Claus movie? I know they made a Jack Frost.
Silent Night, Deadly Night with,
really?
Mickey Rooney. Mickey Rooney, of all people, played the villain in Silent Night, Deadly Night.
I'm actually kind of disturbed that you knew this. I knew that they made like a Jack Frost kind of scary movie before. I think I've even seen that where it's like a killer snowman.
They had a horror movie called Jack Frost, and then they had the Kevin Costner, I believe, movie Jack Frost, where he was the friendly snowman.
Yeah.
So parents that went to the video store to share a holiday...
It wasn't Kevin Costner. It was Batman.
Yeah.
That's Michael Keaton.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Michael Keaton. I like Michael
My
Keaton.
apologies there. But, still, parents that went and rented the wrong one or, whatever, probably terrorized their children for that holiday, so...
And even, like, Halloween, there's the Halloween Michael Myers, of course, and then there's that one movie, Trick or Treat, which was basically a Pulp Fiction Halloween thing. But there's not really too many...
But that was more vignette style, like Trilogy of Terror. And,
yeah, which was actually pretty good. I thought it was good.
Tales from the Crypt. That had the psychotic Santa.
I'll tell you what.
The institution that escaped.
For Warp Mind Studios, I think you should definitely make a movie with Cupid. We'll do it evil. Not My Bloody Valentine. It's going to be fucking Cupid, some crazed fucking little baby thing or whatever that shoots arrows to kill people.
Yeah, I could just see it now.
Or you could do a 4th of July where a firecracker comes to kill people.
I actually have a movie called Rubber, which is about...
Is it latex?
It's a tire that kills.
A tire that kills.
It's a tire that kills.
Oh, no.
It's a tire that has psychokinetic energies that it lets off.
Is it like a spin-off of Christine? Like Christine's tire blew off and fucking went after people?
This is a completely, independent, on its own, overly written, overly thought out piece of shit movie where a tire is conscious.
Oh, man.
Of all things, an automobile tire. And now we go to Dead Air Paula.
I just don't understand why the hell they would have a tire. Who would have?
I don't think you're ready for that one yet. I'll
You gotta ease me into these things.
Yeah.
I mean, I almost fall asleep to some of them. Some of these movies. Bad Taste, I almost fell asleep. You know what I didn't... I understand. He made this movie. Now, I wonder if Peter Jackson intends on making these... Oh, PJ, I should say. Intends on putting comedy in horror movies. And here's the other thing I don't understand is a lot of movies that were made back in the day, as far as horror movies go, there's a lot of comedy in them. And I don't understand that. Now, a lot of the remakes that get made, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre or even Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street, they're all more serious. There's less comedy in them. They're more serious.
Yeah,
and I enjoy those. That's one of the reasons why I enjoy those movies more, because horror, in my eyes, shouldn't be taken lightly, I should say. There should be gritty.
That's good there.
Nitty gritty and down straight to the point kind of thing, and shouldn't have any comedy. I mean, Dead Alive. I mean, they got this a baby. Here's the other thing. Dead Alive. Once again, they have these kind of zombie things, but yet he tames them, and they're having he's feeding them. They're actually calm. They're not coming after him. They're not actually after brains. They're just
spreading the sickness.
They're spreading the sickness. They're eating other people, but
he's trying to keep the semblance of humanity in these people.
Well, that's the other thing too.
And he's, trying to treat them in a humane way and feed them and care for them. He has them all in his house. He's all,
he's taking care of the fucking. He's taking care of his sick mother still, even though she's a zombie, and he's taking care of the neighbors.
You would have to put yourself in those shoes, and what would you do if that happened in your situation?
I would tell somebody. I would be a good fucking Boy Scout and tell the law that, hey, I have a dead mother that's not really dead, and I have a couple neighbors that she bit and took care of, and they're in my basement. They are all decomposing.
Also, on the flip side of the coin, if you're bitten or scratched, the sickness goes through that way. You're telling me that nothing's going to happen en route to the hospital because they're going to look at the person as sick.
They had a funeral for her and already... She, died twice. 2 or 3 times, her mom died, and then they had a funeral, and she still wasn't dead.
Yeah, but when the cops show up at the house...
red flags everywhere, hello?
Yeah, but when the cops show up at the house to investigate, which it would happen...
Yeah.
And everyone's twitching around, okay, immediate trip to the hospital. We have to get these people looked at stat. The CDC will not come raining down, until it's much too late.
I'm just saying, it's one of the flaws in the movie. That's what I'm saying. It's a goofy flaw, and it's not...
But still...
PJ decided to put this in there, and same with the zombies start fucking. They were having sex. They actually had the knowledge or the somewhat know-how to still have sex while they're dead, and they had a baby. And it took them maybe, let's give them an hour. Let's give them an hour or two, and this baby was born. This zombie baby was born. It takes 9 months for a regular human. It takes 2 hours. Now, for that baby to grow that fast in that woman's zombie womb, don't you think that baby would grow a little faster? Wouldn't that be an old man after 8 hours?
Well,
stumped. Flaw? Bullshit. Fuck you, PJ, for that.
No, but see, you're getting off on different tangents here, and you're reading way too much and just not enjoying the movie for what it is.
What is it?
An utter
joke
fest.
Joke.
It's a gore fest.
It is a gore fest. I'll give you that.
There's more blood and guts in this movie than I think as far as blood.
Yes, there's a lot of blood in this.
Yeah, I believe they probably did use more in Nightmare on Elm Street 1 because that was noted as 10,000 gallons that came rushing out of the bed.
It might be, though, because Nightmare on Elm Street was more of a mainstream movie than this.
And I'm pretty sure that a lot of this blood got recycled. Yeah, New Line was a big money studio for a while, and they did very well on that.
I'll give PJ something though. Him on his special effects and his creativity, as far as like some of these kill scenes and stuff like that. I do give him credit for that. Like the one part where he grabs the chick, or one of the zombies, I think it was the mother. The mother grabs the nurse from behind and sticks her hands in her face, and then pulls her face off.
Oh, pulls her head back.
Pulls her head back. I'm sorry, pulls her head back. Not taking off the head totally, but just enough.
Snap it back.
Yeah, just enough.
Where it's flopping around.
Where it's like a trash can.
Now look, there's a pile of limbs.
And they're still moving.
Right.
Yeah.
But just like in Return of the Living Dead, the first one, when they chop up the yellow zombie, it winds up, everything's still moving.
Yeah.
The arm grabbed the mortician's leg and ripped his pants, and it chopped something off. It keeps going.
But at the end of the movie, though, he's got, after taking a lawnmower, the finale, taking a lawnmower to all the zombies and the bloodbath that happens afterwards, all the limbs are not moving.
Yeah, but see, also getting into the extremities thing, for the ones that were moving, because
the magical lawnmower works.
Well, no, the gang member Boyd, I believe his name was, when his guts actually came to life, but he was a zombie.
Oh, the guts. That's right, I forgot.
He was a zombie for a long, long time. But these people that were just recently bitten and turned, had it not have gotten to their extremities.
So yeah, let's see. Is this the guy who? No. Was this the zombie that the mom kills at the grave? The gang member Boyd was peeing on the grave.
Yeah.
So let's see. The mom takes him down at the beginning, and then Lionel cuts him in half. Right?
Yeah.
Cuts him in half. The guts come out. All the intestines and kidneys and all that good stuff come out. They take on a life of their own, and then come after him. Same with his two legs, and also the torso. So there's 3 different Boyds coming after Lionel. Right?
Yeah,
and then at the end, the legs and the torso come together to form another half of Boyd, while also the intestines are coming after him. So instead of 3, there's now 2 Boyds, back to 2 Boyds, and that makes total sense, correct?
Well, it's the degree of infection.
Infection. So it.
Kind of like 28 Days Later. That was never a zombie movie, but everyone thought it was a zombie movie.
Oh, let's take this. Yeah, it was. That was a virus. So this was a virus from the what was the thing again? The Simian Radicus.
Yes. and even in one of your favorites, Resident Evil, it's a virus.
It was a virus. Yeah, but that was a man-made virus.
Right. So there are things taken from real life and made into the movies.
So, for the folks at home, what is a Simian Radicus, Big Kev?
That is a Sumatran rat monkey.
Yeah, and how was a Sumatran rat monkey made, or basically produced? I've never heard of one. How did it come about?
As it was fully explained in the movie, all the little, or the rats came off the slave ships and raped all the little tree monkeys.
It would never be the other way around where those tree monkeys would rape the rats. And I don't understand why the rats had to rape the monkeys in the first place. If there was enough rats off the boat, wouldn't they be fucking each other?
Yeah, but you think that...
But that would not make a good movie there. No.
You're talking to a guy that saw snakes on a fucking plane.
Thank God, I've never seen that movie.
Or that they have the zombie movie where they're on the airplane. That's another classic.
Oh, man. Wait, zombies on an airplane?
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
I think it's Flight of the Dead.
You might as well put sharks on the airplane.
They're working on that.
Oh, so did you know that, PJ, like I said, I think he was born with a silver spoon. You know, when his parents died, he ended up inheriting that house that he grew up in? Now, why? Now, mind you, his parents died, I believe, during the filming of Lord of the Rings. Do you think Peter Jackson really needed that house to inherit that house? I don't know if he has any other siblings or any other relatives of some sort, or I guess you could say anybody else less well off than him. Do you think he really needed to inherit that house? He's got 2 houses on New Zealand as it is.
It was his parents' house. What else were they going to do with it?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I think they would give it to like a cousin of some sort or whatever. But why would PJ need to have that?
It doesn't matter. That just goes through the family.
So him with Oh, and Bad Taste. Did you notice the other thing? There was a city called Castle Rock in that. Mm-hmm. You know where else Castle Rock is?
Maine.
Do you know what other movie it was in? No, it wasn't in Maine. I think it was actually in Oregon.
And there's also the film studio Castle Rock.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Stand By Me, though. Stephen King.
Yep.
Castle Rock. Now, what was I going to say? When he was making Bad Taste, he did his own special effects. I've seen this on the internet. He forced his family to eat sausages for dinner because he was constantly using the kitchen to make latex monsters for Bad Taste. So this fucking kid, imagine having a kid, and he's always using he's got this wild dream that he's going to make movies. And then you find out what kind of movie he's making, and you're like, at what point, as a parent, do you say, this might be a little bit too much? You're making this Alien, which I love, the idea of this one. It's a franchise Alien food company that comes to Earth to harvest humans and take them back to space to sell to as like a can of sardines.
Now, see, you could actually.
So, as a parent, you hear this idea for this plot for this movie. You say, "Hey, son, you're onto something. Here, go ahead, fuck up my kitchen, make all the movies or make all the monsters you want, and the rest of the family will just eat, Burger King and get all fucking unhealthy because Ma can't cook in the kitchen no more."
Yeah, but parents are supporting of their children. If you didn't know that,
They supported that.
Yeah, but
they supported that idea.
And
Go for it, son. The sky's the limit.
Their son went on to become a multi-millionaire on Hobbits.
They had no idea that he was going to do that. His biggest influence were George Romero, of course. Oh, actually, his top 5 movies were King Kong, Dawn of the Dead, Jaws, Goodfellas, and a movie I never heard before called The General. Now, with a guy with having that kind of top 5,
kind of eclectic.
But he makes Lord of the Rings. He makes Bad Taste and Dead Alive. I understand Dead Alive and Bad Taste because of the King Kong, Dawn of the Dead, Jaws part. Because those are all horror movies. They were good horror movies, but he makes Lord of the Rings. I mean, I don't know. As a parent, I don't think I would have supported it.
He was off the script and made a hell of a lot of money doing it.
You walk in the house smells like fucking burnt rubber and latex or whatever. There's condoms laying around everywhere. Son, I don't think I'm gonna let you do this anymore. I'm kind of not support. I support your idea, but go do it someplace else. You're just fucking my world up.
Now, I take it that you're not a huge Peter Jackson fan.
I'd like to see what he can do if he had the backup for, like, as far as the finances go for, like, Lord of the Rings. That was the other thing too. He was inspired by Dawn of the Dead, and he makes Lord of the Rings. He also, he wrote the screenplay for Lord of the Rings. All that long, dragged-out conversations and walking were all because of him. And I heard that in the books, they weren't so eventful as the movie. Now, I understand that they had to make a 9-hour book reading front to back to a 3-hour movie, which is amazing, but...
Yes, but they're walking.
They're walking.
And walking.
And walking.
And walking some more.
The rocks walked.
So,
the trees walked.
Well, they did it in the Never-Ending Story, too. These were...
you know what? A Never-Ending Story, I think, was a lot better and more entertaining.
Yeah, speaking of the Never-Ending Story...
Never-Ending Story, how's it go?
These are big, strong hands.
They look like strong hands. Weren't strong enough to save his little rock boy. So during the filming of The Fellowship, he wore the same pair of shoes and only 2 shirts during the whole filming of the movie. Mr. Silver Spoon up his ass, makes Dead Alive, makes Bad Taste, makes The Frighteners, made some money, and then gets financed to do Lord of the Rings, only wears 2 fucking shirts and a pair of shoes.
CGI is expensive.
But look at look at the production in that movie.
And they were a workaday family. They weren't wealthy by any stretch of the imagination. You know, when they bought him his little Super 8 camera, he used it. He did everything. He didn't have an Xbox or PlayStation because they didn't have that back then. He was doing something to entertain himself, and what better than to, you know, create these little fantastic movies that he had. He had the Super 8, and he made a cowboy flick where, you know, he had the gun shooting.
Is that the movie I was thinking of that he made before Bad Taste?
Yeah, that was...
something like...
Well, he never finished the one. But to do the gunshot, you know, flashes, he actually pulled the film out of the camera and poked holes to make it look like the guns were shooting. Now that's creativity. Mind you, he's destroying his own film that way, but, you know, what a way to go.
Oh, did you know he was born on Halloween?
Fantastic.
Isn't that interesting? He should be a horror guy. I really think that... that's what I wanted to say, is that with the backing with that production for Lord of the Rings, or King Kong, because he made King Kong, King Kong... It's not really... I guess you could say back in the day, when was it made? The 30s, the first one?
Yeah.
Can we safely say it was made in the 30s?
Yeah, because it was the advent of the airplane, and they had the airplanes attacking.
Now, for that time, would you call that a horror movie? I would say yes.
Yes.
So now the new one, would you call that a horror movie?
I'd call that laughable.
Why?
Well, much like Godzilla, you know, let Sleeping Dogs lie, let Toho Studios do, you know, what they should. Matthew Broderick has no business being in Godzilla.
I'll give you that. Godzilla, the new one.
That was freaking horrible.
Terrible. Yo, you didn't like what's his name? Jack Black's acting in
No.
King Kong?
What's
Tom Hanks' kid?
That was a slap in the face to the original thought of the movie.
Oh, so you didn't like that remake?
He would have been better off making Mighty Joe Young for the 16th time, which also is a King Kong knockoff.
Yeah.
But that one actually pulled at the heartstrings because, you know, he was likable during the entire movie. King Kong was horrible because he's gigantic and scary.
So could you say because due to the times that King Kong, the remake, was not a horror movie, but if it was made...
If it was made properly, it could be.
Yeah.
But the last, even in the 70s when they redid it, it was hokey. But the 70s, they had all the big disaster movies going on, so of course, you know, everything bigger and better and bigger and better. You know, with Earthquake, with the flood and the storm and this and that, and that was a rough time for films. So,
you know, with him having these movies as his top 5, don't you think he should go back to horror?
And I'm thinking that he might, because horror movies do not pay the bills. New Line went out of business because they're out of business? I believe so. People quit going to see, you know... I
remember every single movie I used to own or watch was always a New Line film. Ninja Turtles. I always remembered, you know, that fucking... You know, because I've seen the movie a million times. And always seen the, you know, the production, whatever, is always New Line Cinema. And I always remembered that, you know, the logo and everything.
Because they did all the horror movies. Now,
did they really?
The horror spike has, you know, come again, and it's trendy now, and everyone likes being scared all over again. You know, so you have all these quick camera angle shots and stuff like that with the shaking heads, and they're redoing so many Japanese horror films it's not even funny anymore, as if the Toyotas weren't bad enough imports as it was. You know, there are no original ideas. Everything's... If you've ever read an EC comic, it will have... Everything ever done in there was done on film. To come up with a truly horrible thing, you know, something that would actually scare the shit out of people, would be hard to do nowadays. Although there's so many people that have been desensitized by everyday violence and things on the news, there's not too much that, you know, you'd really have to be over the top, and that would probably wind up with an X rating. That's probably why a lot of, if you watch, like, because I got Netflix, and a lot of the newer horror movies,
that come out that are like the old ones, they go straight to DVD. They don't go to a theater. The ones that go to theater are, like the new Evil Dead coming out because it's all serious. The new Friday the 13th, the new Halloween, all that shit was all serious. And, because it's like you said, everybody's desensitized. They don't really find... but see, the sick part about me is that I could watch those serious movies and still find things that I find funny. But they shouldn't be funny. Other people won't laugh at the things I laugh at. But,
yeah, but you got to kind of have a sick sense of humor to enjoy these movies.
I don't think so. I think, like women, they don't care for horror movies that much.
Yeah, they're all turned off because it's blood, guts, and gore. Women don't like the explosions. But if you threw some romance in there or something, or a sparkly, faggy vampire, pardon the dig there, but they want a love story.
So let's dive into this real quick, since we're on the subject of women. We turned into that. Dead Alive had this relationship, mother-son relationship, where you explain about it better than I do.
Yeah, it was very Psycho-esque, where the mother was, she had, as we found out later in the film, killed the husband and the husband's mistress. And then her last love on earth was her son, which she overly doted on, eventually to winding up taking him back into the womb.
Wait.
At the end of the movie.
So you're saying... Can you elaborate on that a little bit? So the son goes back into the mother's stomach?
Yeah, well, area.
Yeah.
Not vaginally. This wasn't...
No, she opened up her stomach opened up, and it brought him back in the stomach.
Yeah.
What'd she say? Oh, he's such a good boy or some shit like that?
Nobody will love you. Nobody will love you like your mother.
Yeah.
But
a little side note, though, did you notice that in Bad Taste, at the end of that movie, the final boss is that one alien, and PJ's character goes into the head, dives into the head with a knife or something, a machete or something like that.
Some sharp
object. He goes into the head and goes all the way through the body and out the bottom. Cuts him from inside out. And in this movie, the final boss is the mother, and he does the same thing where he's inside the womb or stomach or whatever, and he takes that little medallion sharp object thing and cuts her open and comes out.
Yeah, it was a rebirth of the hero.
Oh yeah, the rebirth of the hero.
But in Bad Taste, he shit himself out.
Yeah. I don't understand why he enjoys doing that. It's an interesting way to do things. It's creative.
It's different. No one's done it since, so he's...
Like I said, I'll give him that. He is creative with his kill scenes, I guess you'd say. Oh, so anyway, so you would compare... you can make a similarity between Lionel's character and Dead Alive with Norman Bates, right?
Yes.
Okay, so... Why do women fuck up men this way, especially mothers? Women have a tendency to get in a guy's brain to get them to do things that they don't want to do, such as go to certain weddings or parties and stuff like that, which is understandable. But mothers have that extra edge because it's the motherly love. And this all started... Well, we see this so much in movies that it had to come from somewhere. There's got to be some truth behind it. And the truth is, one of the true stories is Ed Gein. And the story of Ed Gein was, his mother was, she was a Bible thumper. She was really Christian or Catholic, one or the other, or Protestant. I don't know what the fuck she was.
Just really religious.
She's really religious, and she decides, she just, forces the book upon Ed Gein. And Ed Gein was a little slow anyway. And he ends up, the mother ends up dying, and he ends up killing other women, older women that look or have a similarity to his mother.
Because that was the only ones that she approved of was, heftier women. Because
who approved of? The mother? Or?
Yeah.
I don't think she approved of any women, other women. Because I think The other, because Ed Gein had a brother, and Ed Gein supposedly, well, the rumor has it, it's not proven. Not proven is that he killed his brother, because his brother was talking shit about the mom, and how'd it go? Brother was talking. He was moving out of the house. He found shacked up with some woman, and Ed Gein ended up killing her or killing him. And so I don't think she approved of any woman. Other than, I don't think she wanted any competition.
Right. It's a reverse Oedipus complex.
Why do I don't understand what gives these women, or the mothers, I should say, why do they do this? There's so many. I'm sure there's other stories, numerous stories.
You're making it very broad here, and you're saying all mothers. All mothers don't.
Not all mothers. I'm not saying all mothers. I'm saying why there's a lot of mothers that do that, but I just don't understand that. I mean, what is it? Is it control?
But it's an exploration into psychosis.
Exploration into psychosis.
And that's pretty much what it all boils down to. That's what people. Horror movies aren't made around well-adjusted, happy, people. They're made out of monsters. And what's the most horrific thing that could happen? What's the worst?
So in Norman Bates with Psycho, you never find out, I don't think, who or why the mother died. Or actually, I don't think you really see anything as far as why Norman Bates is the way he is with his mother. But he does dress up like his mother. What's that?
He became his mother. She controlled every aspect of his life until he eventually became her after she passed. And I believe that she did die of natural causes. There was no inference that he killed her.
Okay, so here's the other question that, well, will probably never be answered, but I'll see what your opinion is. But why would a son, being damaged by their mother, go out and kill other women?
Because he was...
Like Norman Bates killed the woman in the shower, or Ed Gein killing the other women that looked like or had similarities to his mother. I think he killed them because they were sinners.
He wanted to preserve them, and he used...
Preserved them. How did he preserve them?
Their skins.
And what did he do with those skins?
And he made a suit. And he actually... There was discussion that he wanted to be a woman. So he made the suits, and he would walk around in the suits.
Now, mind you, he's mildly retarded. I don't know if you can say retarded. Mentally challenged.
Well, we've been cursing this entire time, so...
Okay, so retard. So anyway, I heard that, he's the calmest, nicest guy. You would never know that he was such a monster, I guess you could say.
And just
he was a monster in the closet.
Just like nowadays.
He's a closet monster.
Just like nowadays when they interview, the assailants' mothers on TV. Oh, not my boy. He was always such a good boy. He was always, the neighbors. He was always so quiet. Yeah, that's why he went out and shot 15 people.
It's pretty amazing how people can be, I guess you could say, schizophrenic in a way, where they have this dark side to them. I guess any one of us could be like that. Mom's been behind your back pulling your strings all your life. She finally croaks. You don't know what to fucking do with yourself, so you start going on a killing spree.
Deep down, aren't we all a little bit nutty?
Getting over it. Or Jason Voorhees was the same way.
Well, Jason Voorhees was...
he was basically avenging his mother in a way.
Because she protected him. She sent him to the camp thinking, that...
Oh, and real quick, not a lot of people know this, and they automatically assume, because of all the multiple movies that were made afterwards, but the very first Friday the 13th, the killer was who?
The mother.
The mother. Not a lot of people know that. They all think it was Jason. Jason's been it from the beginning.
Jason was still a child in that movie.
Yeah. Was he dead? He was dead at the time, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was dead already in Friday the 13th, and at the end is when he comes out of the lake and pulls the survivor, the Iranian survivor, into the lake. So after that, every single person... Now, here's the other funny thing. With the history of Friday the 13th is that, that campground remained open. it would the killings would happen. They knew Jason was around, but they didn't know that Jason was around. They thought he was dead the multiple times he did die. And let's just reopen Camp Crystal Lake. Let's reopen it. Like, who in the right mind would make that kind of investment? Like, wait a minute, every single time we open this motherfucker, this guy comes back, puts on his hockey mask, and goes after all the fucking kids.
People have died everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's been horrible things that have happened everywhere.
Unless you take Jason to New York, which was great.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, wasn't there Jason in Space also?
Jason X, yes. And that movie, I know, got a lot of crap for it, but I think I liked it. I kind of liked
that was flipping horrible. Jason 2.0, make a bigger, faster, adjust the hockey mask, because that's an important thing.
That was a cool looking hockey mask, though.
Oh my God, you felt.
And he still had a mom issues. Yeah, I think you would definitely say that Jason was a little obsessed with his mom.
Just a wee bit. But again, put yourself in Jason's shoes. What would you do? Your sole protector was murdered in front of you.
Was she murdered in front of him?
Yeah. Her head got taken off, and he was in the lake, and that was it for Mommy.
But he was already dead, though.
Quote unquote dead.
It's amazing how some of these guys come up with these ideas where these monsters don't seem to die. They always come back.
Yes, but it's the power of evil that keeps them going. Like a little Energizer bunny romping, stomping, slashing through the woods.
If you were to take turn into reality, it'd make it more, or not exactly make it more realistic. In the real world, I think there would have to be, I guess there would have to be a heaven and hell. And, Satan has these minions, super demons, and say, okay, Jason, you're a fucking demon. Michael Myers, you're a fucking demon.
and
Freddy Krueger, you're a demon.
And I know you can't see it right now, but I'm envisioning the church lady doing the church lady dance.
Yeah, Satan? Well, I think it was in one of the movies, Freddy Krueger was actually named the Demon of Sleep, I believe, in one of them.
Yeah, they were really grasping for straws in that movie. If they would have went further and, investigated more nightmares, they had a lot of good points in there, and a lot of people got freaked out because that was nightmare du jour for a lot of people. So
there's got to be other mothers.
We should have saved this for the Mother's Day special.
I think we should always come back to this for sure, because there's a lot. I would do more research on, the mothers. I guess we can go away from it for a minute. So Peter Jackson, what kind of movie do you think Peter Jackson? Do you think he could make another original? Now, mind you, he didn't make an original movie since Frighteners. He made King Kong and Lord of the Rings. And I think he's making the Hobbits, too. Isn't the new Hobbit movies? I think he's got his dick in that, too, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'd like to see him go back and do something independent. God only knows that he has the cash to do it nowadays. But I really enjoyed Bad Taste. I really enjoyed Dead Alive. I think they're two of... Especially for how they were done. He was young, no money, no nothing, simple camera. He did half the characters in Bad Taste. How can you not appreciate that?
Yeah, it was kind of funny. Wasn't he one of those aliens, too? Yeah.
Two of them, I believe. The lead and then...
the butcher one?
Yeah.
I don't think that... It looked like his brother or some shit. It looked a lot like him, because I thought there was a lot of similarities between them.
Yeah, I believe he did a cast of himself.
No, it's just cast myself in my own movies, Stephen King.
That way he doesn't... Well, Hitchcock did the same thing, and everyone...
Did it really?
Yeah, that was the original Where's Waldo book.
Oh.
You had to look in there for Hitchcock.
Oh, Peter Jackson was in another movie, but he was not credited for... Oh, man, I can't remember what the hell it was. It was some... I think it was a horror movie, actually. Oh, he was in Hot Fuzz. You ever see that movie?
Oh, yes.
Shaun of the Dead guys? He was in Hot Fuzz. He was the Santa Claus that went and robbed somebody or some shit. I can't remember that movie all the way, but he was a burglar or criminal of some sort, and he ends up getting clipped, I think.
I'm gonna have to watch that one again.
Yeah, he's in that movie.
Now, see, Simon Pegg and Edgar White, would know Peter Jackson's early movies.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, they have the appreciation that I believe I have, and I thought you had, but you're digging, and not very happy with.
Peter Jackson looks like fucking Harry Potter, minus the scar.
Oh my God!
The skinnier version of Peter Jackson, the younger Peter Jackson, definitely resembled fucking Harry Potter. Everybody in New Zealand had messed up teeth and kind of like.
Oh my God! Thank you. We're going to be getting thousands of letters and hate comments on this.
Well, I'm sorry. Well, the reason why I'm saying this is because if he employed so many people from New Zealand that they so a lot of people. It's an island, and obviously I can't imagine there being too many people on the damn thing. If he employed a lot of them have bad dental. I'm sorry. Did they or did they not?
I'm not saying.
Okay.
It was a different time. It was.
You're right. It was a different time. When was that movie made? The 80s?
Yeah.
Everybody had bad teeth in the 80s, anyway.
Please remember that was all comments by little Kevin here, not big Kev.
See, I was born in the 80s, so I had good teeth.
Yeah, speaking of people born with a silver spoon up their ass.
I was not a silver spoon.
Well, braces in the mouth, apparently.
Well, that's right. I did have braces.
Perfect teeth.
My teeth came out gangly from the get-go. The more teeth that came out, the more they came out fucked up. The new ones.
Yes, and I sit here with my gap tooth grin, talking to you.
Did you know that fucking PJ was knighted?
I did not.
He is Sir Peter Jackson, just like Sir Elton John and Sir Sean Connery,
Sir Paul McCartney. Too,
Sir Paul McCartney.
Yeah, the new Knights of the Templar.
The world's coming to an end.
It already has numerous times.
So, I was gonna say. So back to bad taste. Did you notice also with the aliens near the beginning of the movie? Actually, for most of, matter of fact, I take that back. Every single one of those aliens were all wearing the same clothes.
Yeah, go with the uniform.
Yeah.
That was their uniform, the denim shirt.
You never know what the hell exactly happened prior. Like, it basically, you walked into that movie
as if you walked up on the scene.
Yeah, some kind of almost post-apocalyptic kind of scenario. And the funny thing is that...
well, that's the same way Resident Evil started, too. She woke up and, oh my God, what's going on?
Well, no. I'm just saying, you would think... with something like that happening, there would be more of a military background taking care of the situation at hand.
Yeah, but without, proper phone service at the time, without...
Proper phone service?
Yeah.
It was the 80s.
Right.
Did you guys not have phones back in the 80s?
Did you notice that they were using walkie-talkies?
CBs, yeah, I seen that.
And CBs.
Yeah. And that car.
Yeah, they did not tweet, they did not get on Facebook, wow, what's going on? There was no computers, no nothing like that, to where it was readily access, information.
Right, there was the dark-faced guy who, at the beginning of the movie, let's send in the boys. And it happened to be like, and that's the other thing, too. Everybody survived in that movie. Peter Jackson's character falls down a cliff. You think he's dead, but he's not dead. The hero of the movie. And his head splits open. And his head, explain that a little bit. What exactly happens to his head?
Some chunks of brain fall out.
Yeah, what does he do with the brains?
And then he stuffs them back in. And
then he puts the part of his brain that's cracked open, and mind you, it's like a hinge. It doesn't exactly fall off.
It's got a flap of skin.
Yeah, there's a flap of skin, skull, and he just pops the brains back in and pops it back on. What did he use? He used a top hat to keep it tight, and then he used a belt.
Well, he used a bandana first, and then he found the top hat.
Right.
But if you've seen some of these medical shows now...
you can do that, huh? Well, you can put your brain back in and strap it back together?
Well, no. You do not need your entire brain for things. There are... people out there who have half a brain
I don't even use most of my brain. I use about 10%.
And you've destroyed about 5% of that doing things.
Yeah.
So,
I can nor confirm nor deny such allegations.
Yes, you will not say anything that will incriminate you. But there was
Let's just say my mind is cloudy.
there was a medical show where a man had a crowbar through his head.
Ouch.
There was a guy who had a nail in the back of his head, and he had no idea how it got there.
You know,
He complained of migraine headaches and, just kept taking pill after pill, eventually...
Did he notice the crowbar in his head?
Yep. Yeah. The guy with the crowbar knew about it, but not the guy with the nail.
Oh, man. He was actually... Peter Jackson's character, he moved around quite well for being...
He wasn't right after that.
He had quite a... after having such head trauma.
Yeah, and he became a killing
He was able to drive a car. He was able to move around, even though he moved around quite like a drunk. He killed a bunch of aliens. Yeah, he did
he was
well.
definitely a man on a mission after that.
So, I want to... I guess Peter Jackson, one of his things was he was really into the Beatles, of course. In the movie...
With the cardboard cutout, and that was in the front seat.
Yeah, the Sgt. Pepper's outfits. But what was the car? Now, I actually thought about this. It looked like a Mustang. It was a purple, like a plum purple car that was made in the 70s, it looks like.
Yeah.
It looked like a Ford Mustang. It was a Ford. But I've never seen that car before. It was like a smaller version of a fucking Ford Mustang. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, because in foreign countries they'll have different models. In Mad Max, they use a lot of, American cars in there. But they're the English version or Australian version.
I thought it was quite interesting. It was an American-made car with the steering wheel on the other side.
Yeah.
Which is understandable. It was a worldwide distributing company. But I just kind of thought it was... I don't know what kind of car that was, though. Do you have any idea what kind of car it was?
I'm not sure. I'd have to review again before I come up with a concrete answer.
It sounded like a nice car. It fucking ran good. And then they popped the trunk and he had fucking bazookas and shit in there. And one guy was all like, "Oh, can we use this?" "No, not right now."
Yeah, save the big guns for the big scene.
They had some interesting weapons, too. I guess he used all replica weapons for that movie.
Yeah, he made all his own stuff, and he said if you would have grabbed it wrong, you would actually have broken the weapon. As far as... They were holding them together as they were shooting, and they're shaking them.
Really?
And making the sound bang, 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 bang in their head. And I think one of them actually mouths it out while you're watching the movie.
I did not notice that.
I may or may not be.
I think,
But they're shaking the weapons like it's shooting, and the one guy just bang, bang, bang like that.
So let's go a little run through real quick of how bad taste plays out. The guy starts off where? They're on an island. They're on New Zealand, obviously.
Yes.
A couple coastal towns. And the funny thing is, too, is that I think I would imagine every single town would probably be a coastal town because there's a lot of mountains in New Zealand.
Yes, it's just nothing but a big donut with island towns and cliffs.
There you go.
You've never seen black sheep, apparently. It's, like any other country out there, it's got its mountains, it's got its, pastures, it's got its beaches.
And you notice there was nobody there was not a lot of... it was a small movie as far as population-wise. There's not a lot of... I mean, there was only the only death that happened was only the aliens. The heroes survived in the movie. Every single good guy lived.
Well, they didn't show that the town was emptied by these people already and had, been packaged. Actually, they did show that they were packages, and one of them was bloody on the bottom when they were in the house.
Oh, yeah.
The house/spaceship.
And one guy was smoking a cigar, making himself look tough.
Yeah. It's a little touches in that movie that really, make it pop.
So, when they get to it's kind of dragged, well, it's not exactly dragged out, but, to get to the main mansion where all the action happens, they were, preparing for a feast?
Yeah, that was going to be the big send-off, is, we're all going to eat, big before we take our trip back home. So a celebratory feast to say farewell, good job. They did well because they cleared out the population of that town. When the collector came through and he was looking for the donations for the charity, he's walking through and didn't notice anybody around. Then he saw the blood on the ground, and that's the first thing that tipped him off. Hey, something's not right here.
Yeah, something's not right. This town is deserted. We're in here with the care package. We knew something was going. We know something's going on, but the town is deserted. But we're gonna go in there anyway.
Yeah, but if you've ever been out to a small country town, the entire place might be deserted because they're all at church at the time, or they're all working the fields, or they're all doing something besides sitting at home. People do exit the house and work and go places.
I don't do that.
And
I stay at home. It's safe.
I lived in a city up around 26 Mile on the Water.
Did you ever notice the eye thing on that?
Yes, I did. It's
like Bertus something is an asshole or some shit.
Bert is a slave driver and something.
Yeah.
But it's a whole big soliloquy on the board there. That was in Return of the Living Dead, by the way.
Anyway, what was I gonna say? So when they're having this dinner, what are they having for dinner?
The people.
Right, the one guy that they was with the care package.
Yeah.
They were making a stew.
Yeah, they were going to make a stew out of them.
But what else did they? They were going to have some kind of dessert of some sort. And what was that? Explain what that was. Because I know what it was. The folks at home don't know.
Now, see, I was prepared because we had just watched Dead Alive. I know I had seen Bad Taste multiple times, but...
Oh, you want me to explain it?
Go on ahead.
So they have this one fucked up alien who I think already got beat up a little bit. He was one of the ones that they caught near the beginning of the movie. They were going to use him for experimentation of some sort to do research.
Well, they wanted information.
Right, they wanted information, and they, they beat him up, roughed him up to interrogate him, kind of thing. They had him hanging off a cliff by his foot, and he ends up getting away.
Yeah, and they spiked his foot too.
Yeah, what was it? It was kind of funny. PJ was sticking. Peter Jackson was stabbing Peter Jackson in the foot because Peter Jackson played this main alien. So anyway, they go back to the mansion. They were preparing for this feast or whatever, and the Peter Jackson alien decides to puke in a big old punch bowl this green mess of liquid of whatever.
Yeah, it kind of looked like runny oatmeal with potato chunks.
I found out that it was actually yogurt with food coloring and some other little stuff in it, so it wasn't exactly terrible. Because they passed around the punch bowl and they're all taking sips out of the damn thing, and the one human... It comes to him, and he's like, "Oh shit!" All the aliens, they didn't know that the human was there, and he didn't want to blow his cover, so he had to take a sip of the thing. So he takes a sip of it, and he looks, and he's like, "Man, this is pretty damn good." He ends up taking another sip of it, and they didn't really touch on it too much. He walks in the other room, and the rest of the humans are ready to take down the aliens. They looked at him like, I can't remember if they actually said something like. If he liked it or not. I don't think they did. They didn't. That was it.
I don't think they touched on that.
And mind you, that was the other funny thing too, is that they walk in the kitchen and there's blood all over the fucking floor, and the one guy decides to mop it up. Like, let's clean house a little bit because it's too slippery in here. Like, what the hell was the point of that?
Well, again, early movie.
I don't like...
It had slow spots. It had times where it actually stopped and seemed like it dragged on forever. When they were driving to the town, they're within radio contact, but 45 minutes out or something, or however many minutes out. That was and mind you, with it being mountainous, I found that a little bit rough.
I don't find Peter Jackson to be funny. Do you find him funny?
Yes.
Why?
It's a different kind of humor.
What kind of humor is it? He's goofy as hell. He has his... It's kind of slapstick. It's kind of hokey. It's corny. His facial expressions are ridiculous. The way he laughs are ridiculous. The things that he finds him funny and puts in his movies are not... I don't like him. I don't like him.
For the films that he has seen...
I'll give him his creative. That's it.
And especially, being older, much of the acting back in the day was over the top. And so, okay, do a Buster Keaton move, which is way over the top and way out there. Really sell it. The facial expressions in the old black and white movies, they had everybody did up with the pancake makeup and full,
Yeah, they're very dramatic and old, especially dramatic movies. Old black and whites. Like, Helen, I love you so much. Stuff like that. Or
even before that,
he's a sinner.
Even with the silent movies, they're practically screaming at each other on the stage. No one could hear it because there was no sound at the time. But just everything was so overly done, and thus bad acting was born.
But his influences were, Dawn of the Dead and George Romero stuff.
Yeah, those were his influences, but he had seen...
Those weren't that dramatic.
He had seen a lot of movies before that.
And the other thing is, George Romero also was not funny. There's no comedy in that.
Oh, he has his moments.
Well, to the general
they're
public...
coming to get you, Barbara.
Yeah.
Do you remember... Oh, shut up, Johnny.
Yeah. Mind you...
Oh, by the way, excellent drinking game. If you're ever watching that movie, take a drink every time you hear Johnny. You will be plastered.
The original one?
Yes.
Black and white one?
Yes.
Oh, boy. A shot?
Yes.
Are you trying to kill somebody?
You'll be... you will be the living dead after the movie's over.
Don't listen to Big Kev. Please drink responsibly. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know if you can...
Commentary brought to you by drinking.
Yeah.
Take a sip of Kool-Aid.
There you go, Kool-Aid.
And not of the Jones brand flavors.
Jim Jones, purple Kool-Aid. Everybody must love it. Yeah, I don't think... So, let's go back to... let's just finish this up here. Dead Alive, mind you, we're only speaking of... I mean, we're not talking about Frighteners here, which was a great movie. What, he had like a kill count of like 32. The killer himself in that movie, the character wanted to... it was actually Gary Busey's son. It was Gary Busey's son in that movie was the main the killer, Michael J. Fox movie. It was a comedy movie. Now, that movie was a good comedy horror movie. It was meant to be funny. It was meant to be kind of spooky in a way. It wasn't really spooky. It was just a...
It was a family-friendly horror movie.
Yeah. Now, that's understandable. That's totally understandable. I can deal with that. But when you have a horror movie that's supposed to be kind of horrific and thrown in comedy... I'm sorry, I keep hearing the scratching on the walls.
Yeah, that's the demons from hell trying to get in.
All right. So anyway, when you have a horror movie that's trying to be horrifying, and they throw in comedy,
The Frighteners was not a horror movie.
no, it wasn't. It's a comedy.
Well,
I guess
it all depends on how you look at it, because it was a comedy, it was a love story, it was a scary movie for the people that have been, just recently released from basements and haven't experienced anything in the world. It's
why didn't you like that movie?
I thought it was hokey. It was everything that it shouldn't have been. Yeah.
Hokey?
Yes, hokey.
And Dead Alive and Bad Taste were not?
They were hokey, but unintentionally.
Exactly. So he was going after a horror film, correct? Those first two movies.
He was going after his vision.
His vision.
And he achieved his vision.
And you don't think he was trying to be hokey or...
He has attempted to get Bad Taste off the market. And I think if he did that, that would be a great disservice to the film viewing public.
So were you suggesting that, him making kind of a somewhat serious movie, that him throwing in the comedy in it, the actual comedy he thought was funny?
Everything has a little bit of comedy in it, though. All the zombie movies, when they come up with the sheriff in the original Night of the Living Dead, shoot him in the head, is very laid back, pop them like they're nothing. In what is it, Dawn of the Dead or Day of the Dead, where you see the, I believe the term was hillbillies shooting from the hill. Oh, got him! Oh yeah, that was a good shot there.
Yeah,
but
that's I don't think that was intentionally to be.
Yes, it was.
I don't think it was intentional.
That was supposed to be funny.
A little comedic relief.
Pet Sematary. I got something for you, Gage. when he whips out with his pocket knife and he's sitting there after being hobbled on the floor, you know, he's everyone roared with laughter in the theater.
Wait a minute, what part are you talking about?
Pet Sematary, the first one.
Right, he's got something for you. I got something for you, Gage. Wasn't that when he was trying to put that needle in him?
No, when Fred Gwynn comes over the house and gets his ankle slashed.
Oh, yeah.
And he's trying to...
Yeah, he's trying to kill the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's, you know, hits the ground.
I don't think that was trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Fred
Gwynn wasn't trying to be funny, but it was a funny line.
Yeah, it was sometimes dead is better. See, like, I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, well, now see, you saw something else that was...
But the general public, I'm saying, from somebody normal, from somebody normal looking at these movies, I can't see them finding something like that funny.
It's all in how it's taken at the time.
So anyway, Frighteners had basically the bad guy in the movie was trying to get a bigger kill count than past serial killers, such as Jeffrey Dahmer or Ted Bundy. He even mentions them in the movie where he says, "Oh, that's more than John Wayne Gacy."
Yeah, and then the Russian guy who topped out over 100 or something.
Yeah. And it's funny too because there's a character in that movie who actually resembles Lionel in Dead Alive. Now I think about it, and he's kind of like a Nazi guy. And then in Dead Alive, there's the Nazi scientist in that movie, which is kind of interesting. He kind of retouches on older things. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So Dead Alive, near the beginning of the movie, they had this the woman in the movie, what's her name again? Paquita.
Yeah.
She's looking for a man.
Basically.
And she's kind of jumping on anything that moves.
Well, she had a crush on Roger because Roger was the big, handsome, athletic,
rugby player, yeah.
Yeah. And
shop owner, he's very well off.
Well, he was a delivery man.
Delivery man, I'm sorry.
He was not wealthy.
Excuse me.
He was a driver. And so she was attracted to him, and then her mother steers her away and says, "Oh no, that's not the man for you, and you shall find true love elsewhere."
And Grandma whips out the tarot cards,
and shows her the sign of the star, and says, "You will know him by this." And when it gets to the counter and he knocks stuff over, the licorice and I believe beef jerky form into the symbol of the star.
Yeah,
and so it's
a sign from God.
That's a sign for her that she has found her man.
Now, why is it that every single, like, when it comes to voodoo, not really voodoo, but those magic crystal balls, fortune telling, tarot cards, why is it always some old creepy lady telling these fortunes? Where did that? I mean, that had to start from somewhere. I guess the gypsies.
Well, yeah, the gypsies with the cards doing the fortune telling.
There's always some creepy old lady, with one eye or some shit.
Yeah, much like in Thinner, because the...
Yeah, but Thinner was a... Oh, yeah, Thinner wasn't it an old man?
The old man gave the curse.
Right.
But the lady was trying to get the help and wound up getting turned away. The man comes up and gives the curse. But that's the whole gypsy mystique, to where these people have a power all their own.
Right.
But you watch these shows on TV, you know that they're just Jerry Springer fodder waiting to happen. Nothing but class there, folks.
So believe it or not, Dead Alive actually had quite a bit going on in it. For one, minus the let's start from the beginning. It had love, between Paquita and Lionel. They had obviously gypsies or fortune telling. It had mommy issues. He had a Norman Bates effect in that movie a little bit. Then of course zombies, and like a lot of horror movies, they have a final boss, if you will, at the end of the movie.
Now, see, that's a video game reference that, thank you, Nintendo, for that.
There's always a final boss, man. There's always one last person or last thing you have to kill or do. And that goes for a lot of things, so. What was it? Like I said, I counted like 15 kills in that movie, and how many people would you say were zombies in that movie? 50?
pretty much everyone that was at that party became a zombie, aside from 2.
Bloodbath. It had gore. It had crazy fucking intestines in it. Let's see. Oh,
Gotta love guts with guts.
and not to mention that goes back to the comedy and horror. The priest was a karate master.
Oh yes. I kick ass for the Lord.
Yeah.
One of the best lines in that, or I think it is.
That
the
was
best
pretty
line
good.
in that movie. Very matter of fact priest, very, controlling of the situation, and to just, stand back, I'll take care of this.
Well, I liked how Lionel goes back to the town. He's trying to avoid Paquita, and because he doesn't want her involved with all the zombies that he's taking care of in his house. And was it Roger? He said his name was Roger.
Yeah.
Roger was like, "Stay away from him. You've gone funny in your head." I thought that was pretty good. And so there's all sorts of kill scenes, and at the end, of course, he kills him. The only way to stop these zombies is how? What did he use?
A lawnmower, and nothing like a little absolute mutilation and carnage, basically turning everybody there into hamburger.
I wouldn't say hamburger. They were just down to nothing, pretty much.
Yeah, well,
Limbs.
now in Return of the Living Dead, to get rid of the bodies totally, they incinerated them to nothing, to where they didn't even have the ashes left.
Which, to their fault, ends up spawning more zombies.
Right.
Next thing you know, Thriller happens.
Now, had there been a scrubber on the chimney, they wouldn't have had this
You
situation.
think a scrubber would help?
Yes.
So, on that note, what would you give the rating for Bad Taste? 1 through 10 on your horror scale. On overall,
1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest.
yes, sir.
I would have to give that a 9.
Oh my God! And why?
Just for the sheer gore.
Just for the sheer gore. And Bad Taste, really? I guess
Bad Taste, I'd give that about a 6.5.
that's what I was talking about. Bad Taste was the first one I was talking about. Yeah,
Yeah.
1 through 10. 6. And
Six
why?
6.5. It was a good try. It was all original. It was very well done for not having much to work with.
I give that movie about
A negative H.
a negative. Yeah, I give that movie about. I'd say it's about average. I'd say like a 4 or 5. And the reason why is because, I can't stand I can't stand Peter Jackson's face. I really can't. I can't stand the glasses. I can't stand the teeth. I can't stand his smile. He's not funny.
He is funny.
He's not funny.
He is funny.
The idea of, a corporation from outer space coming down to Earth to harvest us was ridiculous.
McDonald's did it to the cows.
Yeah, it's basically pretty
And
much what it
chickens.
was. It's South Park all over again.
Yeah.
Moo 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 moo. There was just not much.
What was that line from there? Another sticky situation.
Yeah, that's another sticky situation. That one movie I didn't really care for. It was not. It was a good try, I guess. I give him the 4 and 5 because of the creativity, I guess you could say, the original idea of it, which is ridiculous, and the special effects, which he all did. I give him credit for it because he did it all in his mom's kitchen, which pissed his mom off, I'm sure of.
But still, with that low rating, which I highly disagree with, I think it was much better than that, and it is worth a view. If you have a chance, go out, rent, buy.
Don't drink a beer
Bad
while
Taste.
watching it because you're going to fall asleep, I'm sure. Because I did. So Dead Alive, 1 through 10.
I believe I gave that one a 9.
Yeah, you said a 9. And why?
It
It's
was
the sheer gore.
sheer gore. Highest body count I've seen in a movie, and
Ooh, highest body count in a movie. I don't think so.
everybody at that party
Died.
died.
And I'm guessing, let's say, for sake of argument, I would say maybe 20, 30 people.
It was a house full of people. I'm sure that they had people change clothes and come back, in different rooms to make it seem like a bigger thing.
Oh yeah, there's people coming from outside.
Yeah,
which
there were people all over
it was
the ground.
all supposed to be inside the house, but somehow, some way, everybody was outside, fucking coming inside, and he barricaded the fucking.
Yeah, but when they found...
Somebody flaws the damn movie.
Oh, you're missing out on so much here, Kevin. It's not even funny. But Lionel had barricaded everything to keep the zombies in.
Yeah.
And he didn't want them escaping and getting out to the general public. So that's why everything was barricaded in the yard.
He gave it a 9, and there's a baby zombie.
Yes.
2 zombies had sex, made a baby zombie that happened within an hour, and had a crazy laugh.
You have to look at the bigger picture, though.
Oh, that was a joke. I gave that movie... I'd give that movie a little bit better than Bad Taste. I'd say at least a 5, maybe 6, because it was better produced as far as production value goes. The acting was over the top, but still better.
Well, it was a later movie, too, so...
Yeah. I mean, I give it credit because, once again, it was creative. Not exactly original, because he kind of stole stuff from other things, I think, and then formed his own. Because he did steal the mothering thing. He did steal, I guess you could... Well, I don't know.
Everything is relative. You know, if there wasn't for, theft out there would... Fred Flintstone was Jackie Gleason.
Jackie Gleason, yeah.
Any comedy ever made on TV goes back to the Lucy Show. How many times have, people been watching on Nickelodeon or Disney and seeing the gag where the candies are coming out of the machine and the 2 girls are working there and pulling the candies off, and the belt just speeds up to an unbelievable level, and they're eating the candies and stuffing them down their shirts.
Yeah.
So
Laverne and Shirley did the same thing.
Yeah. It's the same thing over and over and over again.
Right, I understand that. But I gave it a higher mark because... Well, no, I'm giving that lower mark because of him trying to be funny once again in the movie, and it was stupid.
It's a different humor, though.
It was a different humor, but keeping the zombies in the basement for a minute and not telling anybody, and then it became a bigger problem. The truth will set you free. Him feeding the fucking zombies himself, trying to take care of them, it was just ridiculous.
Again, trying to keep some semblance of humanity. Now, careful, Kevin, because I could request that you watch Axum, which is absolutely, by far,
how are you going to take care of things when they were trying to kill him anyway? It's stupid. Anyway, so that movie was that. Frighteners, let's just go for that one. What do you think for Peter Jackson, once again? 4. Yeah. Why?
Family fun for the whole family, and that just was not me. It was too hokey. Don't get a mainstream actor to do horror. That never worked out. Richard Gere in Mothman Prophecy.
Who, Gary Busey's son?
Yeah. Well, he was creepy and he was good. He was the only saving grace in that movie.
Yeah, that definitely... Well, I don't know. I like Michael J. Fox's characters. I gave that movie a fucking 7 or 8 out of 10.
When the guy's going broke, the guy's living on a shoestring budget.
He's a shitty Ghostbuster. Yeah, he can see ghosts.
And so he takes
a
handful of his business cards and casts them to the wind, out of sheer frustration. But as we all know,
sheer frustration. I can't believe you said that.
Business cards are expensive. Why would you waste them like that? You spent the money to get them printed up. Why waste them?
But it was an original idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Original idea. Well produced.
Big money.
Big money is big names.
A lot of CGI.
Yeah, I guess you'd say so, because the ghosts and everything else.
Yeah,
and cool stuff.
The hokey, sheriff 6-shooter cowboy ghost.
It was supposed to be a comedy movie, and it was a comedy movie.
Yeah,
a spooky comedy movie. Like, what was the movie which was terrible, with Eddie Murphy, The Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, but that's a Disney film, which is... Again,
and you could have said Frighteners could have been a Disney film.
It very well could have been.
And it did what it was supposed to do.
What? Just have parents explain to their children about things, or... I thought it was a little too hokey for me. My tastes are a little bit different.
Okay, so let's take it a step further. King Kong.
Oh my God. I really don't want to go there. I'd only seen parts of that movie. I had not seen the entire movie, so I am not going to give.
I've seen the whole movie at least once. I've seen it on TV, bits and pieces, and that movie was not. I mean, it was cool to see on a big screen because it's King Kong. CGI, I'm so disgusted with the CGI. That's a whole other story we'll get into in a further episode, I'm sure. But yeah, that movie, I'm with you on that one. 4, definitely a 4. It just wasn't for me. It was not horror. It was an action adventure movie. Adventure, yeah, sure, but the thought of the fucking monkey.
I gave The Frighteners a 4. I did not rate King Kong.
You didn't rate? Oh, that's right.
I cannot rate King Kong.
Oh yeah, fuck you. That's right. In the Lord of the Rings series.
Haven't seen them. Can't say anything. And not to mention we went from horror movie to light horror movie to.
Well, that's what Peter Jackson. That's what your best friend, fucking PJ, did. Okay, this is Peter Jackson that never was.
They can't. They can't all be gems, but to go across the board and fault a director across the board for things, you really can't.
Three movies full of walking and orcs
and walking and walking some more
and walking.
All to throw the ring into a volcano.
Yeah, it's pretty upsetting. All right, so that's that for that, right?
And next time, take the train.
So once again, this was the episode of Peter Jackson That Never Was, and what he could have been. He could have been he's still got time. He's a young man. He can definitely.
Well, he's got the money now to do pretty much whatever he wants.
Let's just hope he doesn't remake some. Hey, let's say he remakes Dead Alive.
now that would be interesting.
Sam Raimi's remaking Evil Dead. Let Peter Jackson remake fucking Dead Alive or Bad Taste even. Oh, God. Let's hope not. Well, if you like this episode, and there's going to be plenty more coming, this is Little Kev signing off.
And Big Kev.
This has been The Horror Shop. See you again next time, guys.
Cripply yours.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Now the D and the A and the M and the N and the A and the T and the I O M. Lose your face, lose your name.